Hello everyone and welcome back to my Let's Play Minecraft Magically Modded series. I've got some this now, though there is a couple of bugs I've ran into when this is disappearing from columns of text like this. When you log out and log back in, this was all full when I logged out. And also the Charm of Souls was giving way too many soul fragments. So I guess that kind of averages out. Today we're going to be doing something about this, because this is getting on my nerves. Going to try to build some kind of elevator using frames. That hasn't loaded. You may have noticed that this wall is twice as thick as normal. That's because this is where the elevator is planned to go. Now then, I just need to figure out exactly how I'm going to get the circuit and everything built and where we're going to come out. Let's see, grab you. I think maybe we could come through here, see if there's a way to get through. I need to figure out how much room I actually have to work with. So this is the room. We must be right on the edge, yeah. So that won't work. Another thing I could do is have it kind of come around. Have like a balcony on each level and then it come into a center area like this. That would be one way to do it. And on each level in this room have a walkway that comes out here, because there's nothing on that wall. Let's see, some torches in here. Yeah, that's just simply not possible unless do something like come through here. If we had how to do this. Need to figure out a good way to place it so that I have enough room to work with and that I can get in and out of it conveniently. And the conveniently is what's giving me a problem right now. So right through here, right there. I guess I could just have it go into a narrow walkway or something. Maybe in the walls or balcony. Either of those could work. I think I like the balcony idea a bit better than the walkway. But I'm going to have to look at it when it's built and see about that. So let's see how much room we have to work with, ignoring this in case we do the walkway. We have a 4 by probably 7 area. Yeah, 4 by 7 area to work with. And there are 7 floors, I believe. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2 more after that. Yeah, it looks like it. So 7 floors. 8 if you count the roof, which I'm not sure if I'm going to make the elevator go there. So let's head over to the creative world and see if we can't come up with something that would work for this before we actually start tearing apart our walls and stuff. So I'll meet you over there. In the creative world now, and this is my whiteboard area. So I'm going to just scribble some notes on this for our design requirements. I'm not caring about spelling or anything like that. If it bothers you, you might want to look away. The way I figure it, if you're wasting mental processes on spelling, those are things that could be used on figuring out whatever problem you're facing. So let's see, we know we have 7 by 4 space and 7 floors. We want 1 elevator for each side. So 2, I'll just say lifts, even though I'm not British. Okay, now then, for the circuitry, I think I'm going to have a button for each floor and a call button. So, see, 6 buttons plus 1. In case the elevator is not there. And how we're going to get the adjust this to peaceful. How we're going to get this to work with the circuitry, where there's a few different ideas I can think of. We could have the you press the floor button and you get a time, or let's see, we'll say the lift moves at n blocks per tick or something like that. And when you push the button, it'll either go up or down for 4 different times the n blocks things for that many ticks, if that makes sense. So say if you were on the first floor and you wanted to go to the 6th floor, the difference would be 5 floors. And say this was 1 floor per tick, which of course it's not going to be, but something like that. So it would run the up for 5 ticks and then stop. Another way you could do it is having go until stop, which basically means once you push a button, you'll either go up or down until it gets a terminate signal, which will be when you push the button, you go to a toggle latch on the desired floor. So in our example, if you push the button for floor 6, a toggle latch on floor 6 would toggle on, and you would set it either up or down based on which button you went. So up, down, D, so if you're on 1 and you press the button for 6, you would obviously go up. If you're on 6 and you were on the button for 1, it would toggle the down circuit. Now then, once that happens, it would go all the way up until you reach the toggle latch here, which would both turn off the toggle latch and the frame engine, so it would stop you. And that would be kind of a detector circuit here. I'll just say that. Okay. First thing I want to do is kind of determine what this N is, how fast the frame motor can move a block. Dependable? Reliably? Yeah, reliably. So I'll be back once I have something to test that set up. I have a test setup here. There's a timer here that runs to a set of 3 repeaters. And on the other side of this gap is another set of 3 repeaters with some toggle latches. The dirt block can conduct a redstone signal across, but the frames cannot. Therefore, if the dirt block is between a set of repeaters when the timer pulses, that toggle latch will flip. Meaning that if the timer is too low, this one will flip. If it's just right, this one will flip. If it's too slow, this one will flip. Given that there's the right speed, or none of them can flip if it's in the middle of them. Based on that, I've been able to determine that the reliable time seems to be about 4.5 ticks per block. 4 ticks for this and 1 tick for the repeater. Seems to be pretty reliable. So, right here I have this set for 8 ticks, which means the block should move 2 and flip this one on. So we'll give that a test. And that flipped this very last one, so that seems to have worked. So I think that's the time we're going to go with for our set over here. We'll say tentatively N equals 4.5 ticks, or about 90 milliseconds. 90 or 900? 900 milliseconds. So N equals 5 ticks or 900 milliseconds. Okay, now that that's settled, going to try to come up with something to do for the floor selection, or call buttons and all that stuff, and actually design the circuitry for this. I'm planning on using something over here for the actual basic design of how I'm going to lay out the motors and stuff. Where is it? I guess over here. Basically have a wall of frame motors going down and another wall going up. And hopefully that will work. That's my current plan anyway. I may end up doing it a bit different once I actually get my hands dirty. I'm going to try to do the suggested method for the drilling machine that y'all have mentioned for the circuitry for this as a bit of a test run. Or I might try that, depending on how this turns out. So here goes nothing. The first thing I thought to try is state cells, but I decided that that would take up too much room because you would need one state cell for each floor. Next thing, I have to figure out how exactly I'm going to do the frames themselves. First, deciding to do a 3x3 platform to get started, and lining it with covers on the outsides to keep it from attaching to things, but on the bottom put panels because those will attach to things, and then making a stack of frame motors on either side, one going down and one going up. Once that's done and they are powered, I want to see exactly which sides are affected by the moving part. If there is a signal attached to it. So by putting some levers on the sides like this, I can control the movement of the frames themselves, and it stays on like that. And then I can use something to block the lever's path to stop it. And an alternative to using a lever is to put something underneath it, like a toggle latch, like I'm doing here, and that should work, but apparently it just moves the toggle latch itself and not the whole frame, because you're powering the motor below it and not the one that it's actually on. So I need to come up with one way to connect those so that they are powering it from the sides, and that's what I'm doing here, around the edges like that. And then I need to block the frame motors from being powered and pulling the wires off like it did there. So I put some panels on the sides so they go up and down. So now we have a basic way to move up and down started. Next thing is to come up with some kind of way to turn those on and off, a circuit for that. So that's what I'm doing next, by hopefully powering one from the side like this. I can have it turn itself on. But I ran into another problem. As you can see here, the insulated wire is not actually working. You have to use the uninsulated wire, the red alloy wire, and that is the only way that seems to work with them going up and down like this. Trying that out to see if I can make it stop going up or down. There it stops, like it should. Looking at it though, there's another problem. It's too wide, one too wide, because right now it's 5 wide instead of the 4 wide that we need. So I need to come up with another way to do that. So I've just taken out the middle row of frames and have the thing 2x3 wide instead of 3x3 wide. I am still having trouble with the toggle latch thing, getting that to work like I want. Now I need to think about how I'm going to do the buttons part. I thought about doing 2 rows that are 3x2, but decided to do them vertically instead because I think that'll be easier to wire up. What I plan on doing is having a set like 7 buttons like that. Then behind of those, I want to make sure that the red alloy wire actually works with the buttons. And then I can just put that behind them, separated by covers. And then have some bundle cables going around those. And connect some insulated wire to the red alloy wire. Having a little bit of trouble with the size here as well though, because as you can see the 4x4 space is not quite wide enough, but I reckon that I can use some covers on the sides for this part, so that shouldn't be a problem. And this should work for what I have planned. What will happen is you will push a button that will activate that color of wire, which will tell you which floor you want to go to. And that will in turn also activate the second set of cables that's going to be connected to a different bundle cable, and that will tell you whether you need to go up or down. So the white bundle cable is going to be connected to the toggle latch on the floor that you want to go to, and the black or white will be connected to the frame motors itself, the toggle latch on the frame motor that will tell it whether to toggle the on or off latch. So when you push, say, the button for green, it will toggle the motor going down as well as the toggle latch on the green floor, and hopefully once you hit the toggle latch on the green floor, that will toggle off the down motor and stop you. So now I've just got to try to get this to fit in the bit of space that I have, because remember this can only be 7x4, and right now it looks like the space might be a little bit longer than I would like. So I'm going to try to build this over on the actual frame motor now that I have a little bit of a blueprint set up. Now that I finished building that, you can see here I've got the white cables. So the orange one here is going to be connected to the up motor, and the magenta is going to be connected to the down motor, with the white and black connected to the toggle latches. Or the should say the magenta is connected to the down stop, and the orange is connected to the up stop toggle latch. But now I'm having a bit of trouble with the toggle latches interacting with each other, because something is being powered that shouldn't be. I just need to figure out what that is. Having a bit of trouble with these here still. As you can see, it's kind of causing some kind of loop thing. So I'm going to build another test frame without the button section and try to work on that with a little bit more room to work with. Seems that there's a bit of a problem with the toggle latches triggering the shutoffs when they shouldn't. One way that I can fix that is by using synchronizers so that it will only trigger the toggle latch when the frame motor wire is powered. Hopefully that will work. Need to set up something here. Do that. Maybe that'll work. I'm going to try that out a couple different ways. Make sure it works on both sides, at least. That didn't work. It just seemed to delay the problem that I was having. So another idea is to try a transparent latch. What a transparent latch is, it's kind of like an RS latch, except that it will only change states when it's receiving a signal from the bottom. If it's not receiving a signal from the bottom, it will ignore the signal from the side and hold its current state. So for instance, if I was to power both the bottom and side at the same time and it would toggle on, then the frame motor would move out of the circuit that was holding on the bottom, and it would keep the on state until it reached the desired floor where the bottom would be powered again, but the side would not, which should shut it off. Unfortunately, that did not work because it wasn't reacting to the signal from the bottom on the desired floor. It was just kept going. So one thing I might try doing here is using pistons to stop it, but that had another difficulty because you need the piston from the top and bottom at different spots. Thus you would have to know which direction the elevator is coming from, which would make the circuitry even more complex. So what I'm going to do is try to think of a different way of doing this and then be back. I've built another setup here with the frame motors and such. Trying to do this a different way using the how long the frame motor takes per block to move idea, starting with a timer and RS latch setup like normal. See if that'll work, but it doesn't appear to, because keeping a on state doesn't actually cause the motor to stay on. It has to be toggled on and off for each motor. So we try the state cell thing again. We also had the problem with that being a bit too bulky, though it does work decently. It's just you would require a whole lot of them. So another idea is to check the timing again. And I've got it down to about 0.8 seconds, which is 4 ticks. Seems to work a bit better. I think the repeater in the original test was causing a bit of trouble there. The same idea, but with different tools, is to use a counter and timer setup. So we'll have the timer pulse once per block, so once every 0.8 seconds, and then have it pulse 8 times for each floor, because that's how thick the floors are in the castle, or how the distance between the floors in the castle, I should say. 5 high rooms with 3 thick floors and ceilings. With that basic idea in place, we need to build another button setup here, like we had in the other side, except for it's going to be a little bit simpler, because we won't have the additional bundle cable that's going to detect the up and down part. But I do still need to figure out something to do with the call button part. So I'm just going to build a quick section here for that. How this works is going to be a little bit different from the way the other one was going to work. This toggle latch is just a detector to detect what floor you're on. That'll come in later. How the button circuitry is going to work is you're going to have the buttons go to a circuit that defines the difference between the floors. So right here we have one up for white, 2 up for green, etc., etc. So if you wanted to press the button that was 2 floors up, you would put the white wire there. For the call button, which is going to be the button that's by itself on the top, it's going to work a bit differently. It's going to connect to a different color set of bundle cables, and it's going to be ended with a another signal. The signal from the toggle latch on the bottom of each of the frames cart, elevator cart, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a different color for each floor, and the call button is going to be a different floor or a different color for each floor. So when you add the 2 of them together, they will effectively tell you where you need to go. So if you needed to and for or let's say you were on the floor of orange and you needed to, and the call button was white, so white and orange means 1 floor down. If the cart was 1 floor above you and you were asking for it 1 floor below. At least that's the general idea for how to do that. And all of that seems to work decently. So I think that's what we're going to do next episode, is build this in the actual Let's Play world. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.